Sean is a fresher breath air. He just loved chain restaurants.
Matter of fact, he ate at Applebee's 12 times during the bye week.
I love each and most of you guys.
That really is still swollen, isn't it? It kind of looks like a football, actually.
Thank you for that.
The stitching, you got it.
Thank you.
Look,
Hey, D, I like donuts, baby. Let's go.
Stay focused. Work hard in school. You might not like school, but make sure you're working hard at school.
Them bills are bomb. Them bills are bomb.
It's your boy DM3, and you're listening to the Witty Not Funny Sports Podcast on the Built in Buffalo Podcast Network.
Let's go.
Witty Nation, welcome everyone to Witty Not Funny Sports Live, presented by Traveling Growler, the #1 self-rated Buffalo sports show covering the Bills, Sabres, entertainment, and everything in between. As always, part of the Built in Buffalo Network. Go follow us on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, at Witty Sports 716, on Instagram at Witty Sports 716, Facebook, TikTok. We're on everything, Witty Not Funny Sports. Please, if you're viewing this, like, follow, subscribe to our show, to Built in Buffalo, and everything Built in Buffalo is giving you every single day of the week. We are your hosts. I am Matt. He is Tony. Tony, how's it going tonight?
Man, I was really, really grooving and really feeling it. It was really hitting for me. The Witty Not Funny Sports Podcast theme music.
Ah, yeah.
It was really hitting right tonight. Like Witty Not Funny Sports Podcast. Witty Not Funny Sports Podcast. Witty Not Funny Sports
What
Podcast.
did you do?
Witty Not Fun.
That jacket's
podcast.
Really hitting it for me. That's
That's
a cool like Steph Diggs fashion jacket. Look at that thing. Wow.
Oh, I look good. I feel good.
Bringing the coolness factor up on this show this week.
It's about somebody has to.
Oh, somebody asked. It's not me. That's for sure. It's not going to be me. That is a cool jacket. We are back.
That'd be cool for our big guest today.
Big guest, as I was going to mention. Good segue. We are back with a big guest this week. In a little bit, we're going to get into our interview with former Bills safety DeNoris Searcy, 2011 4th-round draft pick of the Bills. It's Combine week, so we wanted to get DeNoris on. He was been to the Combine. He took part in the Combine. Drafted by the Bills. Get his experience with the team in his NFL career. A lot of great highlights and awesome dude. Awesome interview. We look forward to that one a little later on for everyone listening. So if you remember those years, DeNoris' years, make sure you follow, like, subscribe. Awesome interview. In about 20 minutes here, we'll bring DeNoris in and we'll hear all his great stories and tales, and we'll have a little fun there. But we are back, Tony. It is Combine week. It's like the official kickoff of the off season. I feel like finally getting into these draft stocks and draft profiles and player profiles and what the Bills could possibly do in the upcoming draft here. There's always, before we get into the nitty gritty of our Combine talk, and if you are a first time viewer of this show, as you know, we will not be doing it the way every show is doing it. We will talk about the Combine, but we will not talk about it in the same way I'm sure everyone else is talking about, and we'll get into that in a couple minutes here. But before I get into that, Tony, I love the Combine. Viewers I know love the Combine. Nothing like watching 300-pound, 250-pound dudes just doing drills. Nothing better. What could be better than that? I remember my fondest Combine memory, and there's always one guy I watch at the Combine, and I'm like, that's the guy. That's the guy I want. He's killing it on the drills. He's overachieving. Was Marcel Darius for me. Like, that was the one guy where I was like, go get that guy. He is an animal, and he had a ho-hum career, but for the most part, it was pretty solid, especially in his early years, first couple of years at the Bills there. Yeah. But have you ever had that, or maybe this year you've had that watching the Combine this week, that one guy where you're like, yeah, go get that guy. That's the guy I want wearing a Bills uniform come September.
Yeah. Oh man. Like Combine crushes of my years.
Combine crushes.
I usually like, that's when my draft crushes start. And I usually gain a few. I haven't, I remember being, what's his name? Eric Ebron. Was really into Eric Ebron at that time, but like we didn't really need it. Like tight end we have way bigger problems than tight end. So I wasn't really into that. Really liked you know what, who I'm half ashamed to say I had it, because obviously like your biases towards combine people when you're watching is like based through the filter of Bill's needs. But right. I can tell you who after the combine I was like, I hope it's that guy. EJ Manuel.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That didn't turn out very well.
No, it didn't. It was him and what's the other guy's name? Tyler Wilson, was that his name? Was he a quarterback?
Yeah.
I remember
Alabama?
him and Tyler Wilson were the
guys,
only two combine athletes that I'm like, those are the athlete. Those are the people who are like answering the questions in their press conferences like the way I would want them answered. Like those two are the people who have the right attitudes. I liked him. I really liked.
You are not a good judge of players here, Tyler Wilson and EJ.
False. Disagree. Look at EJ. Thriving.
Yeah, he's thriving.
EJ could have been great in some systems, just not ours.
Sure,
and not ours. Like 90% of systems that would have existed.
You usually fall in love with the small, speedy receivers, like the Kelvin Austins of the world.
No, I don't. I don't like small receivers. I usually fall in love. I usually fall in love with sizable, speedy receivers. DJ Chark was a huge combine crush of mine. Really like DJ Chark. I tend to fall for linebackers too. Oh, and sometimes cornerbacks, because I remember like the first time they broadcasted the combine, and like I'm like learning what I'm supposed to look for from Mike Mayock, and he's talking about like the fluidity of hips in defensive backs, and that was really when I was like, oh yeah, you can like starkly see the difference, and like I like a fluid hip. And I remember that was like Jalen Ramsey, where someone was like, oh yeah, look at that guy, look at those hips on Jalen Ramsey, like this is we should just trade up for him like that. And now I hate him. So, but him, I remember being like really, I do get excited about a lot of linebackers. I remember Fred Warner was a big combine crush of mine.
Yeah.
I remember who's that outside linebacker for the Browns? Taki, is that his name?
Taki, yeah.
Yeah, Taki. Yeah, I remember being like really into Taki for a combine. Really liked that. A lot of good combine fun. I always remember. I mean, it drives home now because we have him. But like, I remember so vividly watching Josh at the combine. Like, I feel like I could transcribe everything that Rich Eisen said when Josh was throwing, because it like is just so like it became so concrete in my brain, like that experience of watching with the combine and everything that it was, and him just dropping 70-yard bombs with a smile on his face.
The boyish charm.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. And Baker Mayfield being there, not giving a shit at all.
Oh, of course. Still this day doesn't. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, it combine's great. I don't know. Like, I feel like less stock is put in the combine as today as when it was maybe years and years ago. Like some coaches, Robert Saleh for the Jets, even though I don't like him and maybe don't agree, but he doesn't attend the combine. Like a lot of it's invested in pro days and game film and things like that. So I don't know how much luster the combine has these days, but I always enjoy it. I always like watching it, getting an idea of these guys. I think it's more to me of like, what's the preparedness of them? Like, are they being professional about the whole experience? Maybe they are projected to be a high draft pick and they come in and, waltz through the combine and their 40 time isn't as high as many expected, or they didn't do as many reps as many expected. Like that just tells me like, oh, maybe the professionalism, the preparedness is not going to be there throughout his career. I think that's like what I look for, less like the athletic traits per se. So, but it's always fun. It's always fun to watch these guys do what they do. You get your first view of some prospects. Like really the first time I kind of got an idea of Josh was at the combine, and then I go back and watch his Wyoming stuff, and then like, okay, maybe I don't like this guy. Maybe I don't like his accuracy and stuff like that. And I will fully admit, as many BillsMafia members will, like I didn't want Josh. Like I wanted the other Josh, the hot tub in the dorm room Josh Rosen. So I was wrong. I'll admit it, but it's always fun to get a first view of these guys. Now, on the field stuff is where the action's at, but the funny stuff is in the interview process.
Right.
So I thought when we talk about the combine here on this show, let's talk about some of the interview questions, some of the weirdest, strangest, funniest interview questions that have been asked that players have reported being asked by NFL scouts, combine attendees, whatever, to them. And I thought we'd put a fun twist on it of having what current Bills player would answer that question in the most strange, weird, funny way. You ready to get started?
I am ready for my combine interview. And I hope you are too.
Well, this is not the Wonderlic test, which we do very poorly on, I'm sure.
Yeah, we should take the Wonderlic test on the show.
Who is it? We should. That'd be funny. Let's do that next week.
Okay.
Next week, we're taking the Wonderlic test preview.
Stay tuned, fans.
Tony, my first favorite question, weirdest question that I found in doing the research here. How many ways could you use a brick in a minute? What Bills player currently would you think would answer this the weirdest, strangest way? How many ways could you use a brick in under a minute or in a minute?
You know, who do I think would thrive with this question? Because I think this is the kind of question where, like, if you just have any good answer, that's like amazing. That puts you in the top 2%, right. You know? So I don't know. I guess I'm tempted to say, in my mind, Steph is very creative.
I was going to go with Steph too.
Right. And so
that's like good. Top of mind for me.
Yeah. Like I have that as top of mind. Like but it's because like that we've seen him answer the most questions in our lives as Bills fans because of Family Feud.
Yes, of course.
So I feel like that's made for him. I feel like Josh is pretty creative, honestly. Like Josh is pretty fast off the cuff.
Yeah.
Where else could I go with a brick? But I'm also tempted to really give it to Matt Milano. Because we know that Matt Milano must have bloodlines in not only the Bills Mafia, but the real mafia.
the Italian mafia, yeah.
The Italian mafia. And so I know if there's something I know about the Italian mafia, they know a few creative ways to use a brick.
Oh yeah.
Tie it to the feet, put it upside a head, whatever. Really test the loyalty. So I feel like Matt Milano probably instinctually in his DNA has some brick ideas.
I like that. I like the thought process there. Yeah, a lot of ways the Italian mafia and can use a brick that Matt Milano might just inherit just due to his Italianness. I thought the worst player to answer this question, easily Reed Ferguson. What's he going to do with a brick? Snap it. That's it. That's all Reed Ferguson knows how to do.
Oh, I thought you were going to say put it on the grill.
Oh no.
Or like make
no, he just long snaps it.
Grill like make one of those outdoor grill.
I thought Steph too. Steph was top of mind for me because he's into so many things. Whether he uses a brick for a fashion statement or something, or he's with Chef Darren Bryan and uses a brick for cooking, or just Steph can go a lot of ways with the brick. So Steph was the first that came to mind for me. Viewers, listeners, please play along, like in the chat, in the comments, like let us know who you think, what player would answer these questions the best at the combine. Tony, second question. Maybe this is the same vein of an answer as Matt Milano, but a combine attendee was once asked, "What's your murder weapon of choice?" Might be a brick for some.
What is your murder weapon of choice? To me, I think there's an obvious answer.
What is it?
Poison.
Poison is a good one. Poison doesn't get enough respect in the murder game.
Poison doesn't get enough respect. Like it's like someone like they're always eating. You just got to
Right.
figure out
Or drinking.
You just got to figure out like how to get this around. And even then,
Right.
could be anybody.
Right.
You know.
Obviously,
it's the cleanest.
It is the cleanest. Yeah.
Like then they just die.
Untraceable.
No
no
fuss.
fingerprints.
Well, it's traceable. Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, like not traceable back to you.
But traceable, yeah, it's only traceable based on like time of like I was there
Sure.
when it was ingested. But like, yeah, you're right. Like
Right.
no fingerprints, no mess, no fuss. Easy peasy. Slip it around.
Who would be the Bills player to poison someone? Let's see.
Oh my gosh.
Cam Lewis. the guy who is like 27 dresses of the Bills players, and always good enough to be a bridesmaid, never a bride, always good enough to be the backup to everyone, never the starter, right? Cam Lewis is the poisoner. Yeah. I think that's the way to go with this one.
Yeah, it does feel like he has the motive.
Backup safety, backup nickelback, backup whatever.
Backup outside, backup inside, backup safety.
Yeah. Never the starter. Cam Lewis has
Yep.
very much incentive to poison someone. I think that's the answer here.
Mm-hmm.
You're very much on board. I can tell you.
I am. He knows. He knows the way this game is played.
He does. Next question. What color is melted snow? At the time this question was asked, the athlete said white because snow is white, but melted snow, I guess by transitive property, would also be white. But the GM, scout, whoever came back and said, "You sure about that?" And then he said, "No, melted snow is clear." So I love this question because as family members of mine know, as friends of mine know, my favorite color is clear. Love the color clear. It's my favorite color in the world. And everyone comes back, well, clear is not a color, Matt. I go, well, what color is a glass? It's clear.
What color is melted snow?
Tell me clear is not a color. Yes. But in terms of a Bills player,
of whatever it's on.
Yes. In terms of a Bills player, who do you think would answer this in the most confused, maybe the worst way possible?
Oh man. So basically, I don't know. I feel like you're just asking me which Bills player do I perceive as the dumbest. Is basically what you're
pretty much
basically what you're asking here.
See, my thought initially, while you think and ponder, my thought was he's not currently on the team per se, but my thought was always Gabe Davis. He's like very bad depth perception, so maybe he's colorblind. Maybe something's going on with his eyesight where he can't perceive that the color of melted snow is not actually white; it's actually clear. So that was top of mind for me, is Gabe Davis.
See, I'm trying to think of someone who's like somehow always averted snow in general. Like a play, like they get signed to the team from the South, never really see game action, like are gone by winter,
right?
Someone who's like not around like that. I don't know.
Yeah, someone who doesn't really like Buffalo.
Or I was thinking, who thinks it is Stephon Gilmore. Yeah,
that's a good one.
Yeah, he feels like someone who would actually like this. That would actually like happen with.
That's a good one. I was thinking like Cole Beasley. He'd be like, "It's white," and you'd be like, "No, it's not white. Melted snow is not white." He'd be like, "Yeah, well, Facebook told me it was white, so it is
I was just gonna say that. I was just gonna say, I'm like, yeah, but like Cole Beasley.
That's Cole Beasley.
If Cole Beasley just says it enough, then he'll believe it. So, so he can just change. He can change reality, or at least his perception of reality at a whim.
Right. There's a couple draft prospects with Keon Coleman being one. There's a couple Coles in the mix this year. I think it's time to rewrite the organization history books on the word Cole.
On Coles.
And draft one of these guys. Like we need a new chapter in the Cole history of the Bills organization.
Yeah. Santa demands it.
Yes, exactly. Santa does demand it. My next question that I pulled up, and Tony, if you have any, shoot my way. And again, listeners, viewers, play along in the comments. Let us know what player you think would answer this the worst, the most confusing. Give us why. Maybe the craziest question, because a lot of these guys probably don't want this exposed, but the question is, would you share your internet history with us? What Bills player currently do you think has the worst internet history?
Steph. Steph Diggs. We know it's got to be, right?
Who do you think?
Are you hearing me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, it's got to be Steph Diggs, right?
Oh, yeah, right?
Like, to me, this is the question of who would you not let date your sister?
Yes.
The reason you would not let them date your sister is because of their internet history. Like that, what that identifies.
Absolutely. And that internet history being very known. It's not hidden in any way. Steph Diggs isn't in incognito mode, or he isn't using a VPN, like a secret VPN,
no,
to
he
hide that.
Steph
he doesn't
is
care.
Too rich
no,
to care about any of that. He's too rich.
He's just on his phone on the worst websites, and he doesn't care who knows or who sees.
Right.
Definitely Steph. It's got to be him. Definitely Steph Diggs.
Who's like the Steph Diggs of the defense in this respect?
Of the worst internet history on the defense?
Well, just like someone like unhinged like that.
I mean, it's got to be Poyer, right?
Oh yeah, I guess yeah. I don't know. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I see it that way. Poyer's a family man,
Who's like a sneaky one? Who's a like one you wouldn't expect, is going under the radar with the internet.
Tyler Manikevich.
Yeah, he's got that weird beard.
Yeah,
looks like he's out of Game of Thrones.
I was trying to think of Irish puns. Maybe something that will come up in our next question. Who's most likely to have an OnlyFans? Tyler Manikevich.
Oh, Tyler Manikevich, yeah,
Tyler
for
Manikevich,
sure.
Yeah. The curtains.
I was actually thinking, based on recent interviews and such, Dion Dawkins. The man doesn't have a shirt, and we are putting it out here right now, as we did earlier this week on Twitter X. Dion, reach out to us. There is a lack of shirts in your wardrobe repertoire. We want to fix that. We will give you any shirt from our apparel store, the show store, for free. We will send it to you. You pick any one, we will send it to you. A lack of shirts this man has. We need to change that. So I thought Dion Dawkins would be the prime candidate to have an OnlyFans, but it's not it's a tasty OnlyFans. It's only showing off his cool tattoos, or it's not it's not lewd and crude. It's tasty. Dion's a tasty guy. He's a classy guy. So that's where my head went at.
Dion Dawkins is just a party dude. Dion Dawkins, Buffalo.
He is.
Bills, Dion Dawkins, Buffalo. I'm almost in parody mode. They better call him the Brady Bunch soon, because it's going out of me today.
You're coming back with parodies here. Dion Dawkins would make a great, not a main Ninja Turtles character, but a great secondary character, one of those odd villains who would pop up every once in a while, like the human alligator guy, or
a weird. I was gonna say a weird Bebop, a weird sidekick to Bebop and Rocksteady.
Yeah,
they're mean, but Dion Dawkins just
sneaks
up every once in a while and
he's just goofy about it.
Yeah, and says something goofy. Yeah.
He would be that's exactly what it was. It'd be a sidekick to a sidekick of Bebop and Rocksteady, the goofy, the comedic version of Bebop and Rocksteady. I like that. That's perfect. My head went to Dion Dawkins. I think a sneaky one would be Tyler Matakevich. You got to think of some under the radar things. That OnlyFans is popular. Should we get on OnlyFans?
As customers or as
no, not as customers. No, not as customers. As talents, just podcast shots.
Yeah, I mean, I think we just do a second podcast a week with our shirts off, and that's on OnlyFans. And there's the shirted podcast on Built in Buffalo.
Yeah, and you have to pay for the shirtless podcast, like Dion Dawkins doing shirtless interviews. Dion, he could be our first guest on the shirtless version.
Oh, he'd be in, yeah,
of this show. My next question, my last one, Tony, if you have any, let me know. But
I got a
couple. Final question for me that I saw. You're on a mountain in Alaska on a bus going 100 in 100 miles per hour. Sandra Bullock is not there. This isn't a speed situation apparently, but the bus can stop, I guess. But where are you sitting on that bus? What kind of question is that? What does it matter?
I know, like that really doesn't matter. To me,
this is the question that's like, no matter, why would you even ask this? No matter what answer it gives, it would never change my opinion of that player. Like, this is the stupidest question.
To me, I wonder, like, the answer's got to be, like, about self-protection. Like, about seeing your body as your livelihood and seeing your body, like, as an asset for the team. Of, like, whatever is the safest seat, that's where I want to be. Because wherever I'm, like, not going to get injured. So if, like, I want to be in the back of the bus because statistically I'm the least likely to get injured in the back of the bus. So like this road, something like that.
You're going Outcast with it. Everybody move to the back of the bus. Outcast.
Right. Yeah.
I think that would probably be the reason why a GM or a scout would ask a question like that. Is like,
is it like that? Yeah. But that's like, you gotta, I don't know. That's like kind of a jump, you know?
Yeah. Big jump. Wouldn't you rather ask like,
point, that's it. A question designed for the answer you want?
Yes, I was thinking like when you enter a car, what's the first thing you do? And if the athlete doesn't say put on a seatbelt, you're like, I don't know if he protects his body well.
Oh,
I think that would be a better question.
Yeah, something like that. Right.
I don't know. What Bills player would answer this in the worst way? I'm trying to think here. Who doesn't take the bus? That'd probably be the smartest answer.
Well, I think I'm not taking the bus. I was going to say like it's like a Cole Beasley situation to me.
Yeah, it's like Marcel Darius drag racing.
Oh yeah,
Marcel's like, I'm driving that 100 miles per hour. I'm driving that bus. What are you talking about?
Right. No, it's gonna be like Marcel danger. Darius. Like people who like don't believe that danger exists. So like to me, it's like it's a Poyer situation.
Okay, yeah.
And he's like, oh no, Poyer would be like, well, they want me to be in the back of the bus, but like that's just the establishment is telling me that I'm supposed to be in the back of the bus. I don't buy that.
The establishment.
I'll sit where I want. Yeah. So I
was thinking of like I like that. The establishment.
That's just
Poyer would be a guy who mentions the establishment in like every sentence he speaks, right? Like, the establishment. I was thinking like Josh would have probably like a good answer for this one of like, because Josh has that like I'm indestructible mentality when he's on the field, just balls to the wall. Like, oh, the bus is going 100 miles an hour. Yeah, I'm not gonna wear a seatbelt. I'm gonna stand up. I don't care. I'm indestructible. I'm invincible. I get a Josh Allen vibe from that.
I kind of see that. Josh does. I mean, Josh has a recklessness, but that's why we love him,
right? That's why we love him.
In a sense.
That's why we love him.
That's why we love him.
Give me a couple that you found.
All right, so I found I liked this one where they asked Joe Scarborough, is God an Auburn fan?
Okay.
So, I know, like
interesting.
That's kind of like your reaction would kind of been like my reaction. Like if someone's like Matt, if you to me were like, is God a Fredonia fan? I'd be like, okay, what? Like,
why wouldn't God frequent Sunnies? Sure.
I feel like yes. I don't know. I feel like there's never an answer no. I don't know what
I don't know. Yeah, that's a weird one. I don't. Some of these questions like that, I would just like if I was the interviewee, I would just be dumbstruck. I would be shocked.
Yeah, that's
answerless. I'd be like, right. Is God an Auburn fan? Sure. Yes. Yeah. Is it going to help me get drafted? Is it going to skyrocket my stock? Sure. Yeah. Let's go with that.
Right. Like weird. And I would love like some players just go into like a weird, like some players like, oh, you didn't know
like I was a diatribe.
Theology minor. Yeah. Like you didn't know I was a theology minor because here we go.
27 minutes later.
Yeah, 27 minutes later, it is unearthed.
and then the comeback's like, well, yeah, a simple yes would have sufficed there.
Right. Yes, exactly. And then similarly, another question that I found in several places that was reported That's another one like, what? Like, how is there an answer? Do you find your mother attractive?
I saw that one too.
Yeah, you seen that one coming around?
I didn't bring that one up because I didn't want to think of what Bills player would answer that or have an answer for that.
I know. Yeah, who is great? Yeah, like I don't even know. But isn't there one? I thought I saw online somewhere like that some Bills mom has like a reputation of being like a hot mom.
It was Jake Fromm's mom, right?
Oh, maybe is that what I'm thinking of? I don't know.
Yeah, I think Jake Fromm's mom had a
Fromm mom.
Fromm mom.
The Fromm mom.
Hashtag Fromm mom.
Yeah,
yes, I didn't want to touch that question because I didn't want to put that thought in my head of like what Bills player would be thinking this. The team is too pure. Josh is too pure. Like I don't want to.
It's too pure. It's too pure. Yes.
Don't put it out. Get it out of my brain. Get it out of my brain. Yeah, those are the weirdest combine questions. We'll ask our guest coming up here, Searcy, if he's been asked any of these weird questions before. So Tony, you ready to get into our Denoris interview? I think that's why people are really here.
Get him in here.
Get him in here. We'll bring Denoris in. We'll be back after the break, and we're going to bring, well, first, before we bring in Denoris, let's bring in a combine darling himself, Mr. Marv Levy, to take us to the break.
Known combine darling.
The ultimate combine darling.
Yes.
The forever combine darling.
Because he combines all the talents.
Of course. Nice. Good play on words there. Let's bring him in. Marv, take it away. We'll be back after the break with former Bills safety Denoris Searcy.
So go, Bills fight, Bills go. Come on, let's win for Buffalo.
And we are back. Viewers, listeners, we have a awesome guest for you lined up this week. We now welcome to the show our very esteemed, very special guest, former Bills, 4th round pick, 2011, safety, Mr. Denoris Searcy. Denoris, thank you so much, man, for joining the show.
No problem, man. Thank you guys for having me.
Oh, awesome. Pleasure is all ours. We love having you and teammates and all former Bills on. We love talking to you, learning your stories and everything. So hopefully the viewers, enjoy it as well. Viewers, if you have comments, please, hit it up in the chat. Let us know if you remember. And Denoris has a lot of great memories from his Bills days. And we'll get into it later. Sacking Tom Brady, fumble recoveries for touchdowns, sealing games with interceptions. We'll get into it all. He's got some big moments. So if you remember, hit us up in the chat. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. But Denoris, it is Combine Week, a big week for college athletes all over, trying to get recognized by these NFL teams, scouts up in Indy there. You went to the Combine. You had the honor of going to the Combine back in 2011. Talk to us about that experience, maybe leading up to it, being coming out of North Carolina where, back in the day, I don't want to discredit the football squad, but North Carolina is a basketball school. It's a Jordan. Right. It's always been a basketball school. So I think you and your era there, that time was kind of the changing of the guard a little of like North Carolina could be a football school too. So tell us about your Combine experience just before college days, leading up to it. And then, just your experience going through all the drills and everything and the interviews.
Well, of course, as a kid watching it on TV all those years, when my time came, for one, I was just hoping to get an invite to showcase my talents because you still got to get invited there. So once I got the email for the invite, man, I was excited. Like it was just something like yes, finally I get to do it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like be a part of something, be a part of a tradition. They call it the world's biggest job interview because so many guys go there. So many guys go there to put on their best foot forward and make a case for why I should be drafted, just for a chance and an opportunity to play in the NFL. So once after the bowl game, I left and went to Orlando. I had to go through the Senior Bowl first, which was pretty cool, seeing the top seniors in the nation, competing against them, meeting guys, talking to NFL scouts and whatnot ahead of the Combine. They was all saying that it was looking forward to see what I can do at the Combine. So arriving, I was wired. I was up all night. I smiled every day I was there. I can't remember the exact scout for the Bears. He saw me on like day 3. He was like, "DeNoris, every time I see you, you've been smiling the whole time you're here. Everybody else got like it was early in the morning. It woke us up at 4 in the morning one time, for drug testing and things of that nature. And I was smiling in. I didn't care. And so he was like, "Why are you so happy?" I said, "Man, I finally get to do it." Like, you know what I'm saying? Like all the years of watching guys go through the process and going through it, just sitting there, every year after year from freshman year, then watching fellow teammates go through it. When I got freshman year of high school, I started watching it heavy then. And then when I got into college, of course, you would have guys from my team competing in it every year. So I would always watch them, sometimes even skipping class to see what they do. So just rooting them on. So I just told the guys, it's my turn. So like, I'm going to enjoy it. Like I would never get to do this again. So why not enjoy the process? So so he said, I like that. I like that attitude. And it was just, like I said, it was just a great experience being there with all the top guys in the nation, all those guys you seen on ESPN, realizing some of the guys you see on ESPN and on film, they're not as big as they look on film. Like I'm walking by certain players, I'm like, damn, that's him? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he's a baller, you know what I'm saying? I'm not naming names, but just seeing certain people that they look bigger on TV, and then you get and meet them in person, or they look mean in their pictures, and you meet them in person and they're just like you, laughable, play, go happy, go lucky, just there to enjoy the ride and experience, man. I just had a blast doing the drills. Just I participated in everything. I wanted to push myself and compete with everybody that was there, and just enjoy the process.
Yeah, I'm sure it's just kind of like eyes wide, right? When you get there, we see videos even today of guys like throwing passes and catching in the hallways and of the hotel room and things like that. So, and I'm sure just some of these guys you never played against before and or seen for the first time. And you're right, just seeing like, oh, damn, that's that guy. Maybe he's bigger, maybe he's smaller than them. Maybe some guys had the same reaction as you. You did 27 bench reps at the combine, which is for a safety. That's pretty impressive. So maybe guys were like, damn, this safety's doing 27. I got to step my game up.
Oh yeah, man. Like I said, it was fun. And then like now, since the combine, I look at it on TV sometimes, especially if we got guys from Carolina that send it, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
And it's cool to see like the videos of them walking down the hallway, same hallways I walk down, same they in meeting rooms, some of the same meeting rooms I went in to talk to coaches. Then to see them perform on field in the same drills that I've done. I think the only new drill that the DBs do the catching gauntlet, like the receivers now. Like we wasn't doing that. We wasn't doing that when I came through the combine, but I wish we was. I would love to showcase my receiver skills in that manner. So some things have changed. Some things are still the same, but it's overall, like I say, it's awesome.
Reps, the broad jump, things like that? Or was it the interview process? A lot of guys train for the interview, practice mock interviews. Like earlier in this episode, we talked about some of the craziest questions scouts and GMs and NFL personnel ask these potential draft picks. Like, did you get any crazy questions or weird questions asked to you during the interview process?
The only weird question I got asked was like, do you really like football? And I'm like, what? Like, if I didn't like football, I wouldn't be here. Like,
what am I doing here?
Right. But I would say the interview process was harder because when you get on the field, it's just football at the end of the day. You just do football. That's it. And but the interview process, because some rooms I went in, I was like, for example, I went in meet with the Denver Broncos, and I seen John Elway for the first time face to face, and he introduced himself like, "Hey, I'm John Elway," and I'm like, "Shit, I know who you are." You know what I'm saying? Like, or meeting with the Cowboys and seeing Jerry Jones for the first time up close. So but it wasn't a nerve. It was just like, "Oh man, that's such and such," or "Oh man, that's what such and such looked like up close." You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Realizing John Elway was really that tall. You know what I'm saying? Like, and like hands like oven mitts. So it was pretty cool, man. Like I said, like I just took everything in because again, I knew like there'll never be another process like this again. So like enjoy the moment. You prepare for it. You watched it so long on TV. Just take it all in.
Absolutely.
So as you're like revving up for the combine, we hear now that they, some players like hire specialty, like speed coaches for the 40-yard dash and specialize in like training themselves up specifically just for those certain drills. Was that kind of happening in your era? Is that something that you did like as you prepared for the combine, or was it just what the skills that I have is what I go in with?
I went down to Orlando to work out with Coach Tom Shaw in Orlando. So I mean, yes, I focus on certain things, but at the end of the day, I was like, they're gonna pick you. They're gonna pick you. I'm finna go down here and just give it my all. At the end of the day, I'm not gonna overthink about stuff. I'm not gonna harp on like, oh, I gotta do this. I'm gonna go out here and just give it my best. And if my best's not good enough, then they'll let me know. But I took that stress off of me. Like, just go have fun and just enjoy the moment. Like, because you'll never be here again unless you're in the stands as a coach or a scout, taking notes. But as far as like participating on the field and doing all this, you'll never do it again. So just enjoy it. So I made sure to be like, I just said a prayer and just put it in God's hands and just went about my business. That's it.
And I think that's probably the kind of attitude that, rang true that gets you to be selected in the 4th round, selected 100 overall. Right. So if we take it to draft day, if I may, Matt,
go for it.
What were sort of the set of emotions as your like, what was your draft day experience? And then what set of emotions did you have when you heard your name called?
Okay. My draft day experience, I had a chance for ESPN cameras to be at my house. But I didn't want no cameras at the house because I knew like a lot of my family was gonna be over there and they're gonna be doing their thing, whether it be smoking or drinking. So I just wanted them to be comfortable. Like, you know what I'm saying? My dad was grilling, my mom and my aunts cooked and whatnot. So we just all ate and just watched it. And then like, of course I didn't go the first round or day 2. So when the 3rd day come, the whole weekend I just wanted to hear my name called. Like once I got the opportunity, I was gonna make the best out of it. Wherever I went, I just wanted to get drafted. And then like 5 minutes as soon as the 4th round started, 5 minutes later, like I was the 3rd pick. So I didn't have to wait long. It was like, I saw the first 2 guys go and then my phone rang. So then I got the call. I knew it was a New York number, but I didn't know which part of New York. Then I answered the phone and it was Buffalo. I was ecstatic. I just started pointing at the TV. My mom and dad was like, who is that? And I was like pointing at the TV because they were about to announce it. So then they saw my name come across a ticker to go into Buffalo, and I was just happy, man. Like it didn't dawn on me that I was going somewhere cold until my brother came in there and was like, get your long draws ready. You know what I'm saying? Like that's all he said. And then when he said that, I was like, oh man, yeah, Buffalo's cold as a mug. But I didn't care. I would have went and played in Alaska if Alaska had a team. You know what I'm saying? If Alaska had an NFL team, they would have drafted me. I'd have been on the first plane to Alaska. I didn't care. So I just wanted the opportunity to play in the National Football League at the end of the day.
So then, I mean, there's definitely going to be a culture shock, probably, I'm sure, coming up here, especially in that era of, where the Bills are at in that era. So what would you say, based on that experience that you had, coming up here, gaining your first impressions of the city, of the first impressions of the organization? Let's say you were mentoring someone or you knew someone who got drafted by Buffalo this year, and they called upon you and said, hey, Denoris, I got drafted by Buffalo too. Like, what can I expect? What can you tell me about it? What would you say?
I would tell them that don't expect to go to a big city like New York. You're going to Western New York. But I will tell them like everybody that's there is going to love you as long as you stay out of trouble and do what you need to do. What helped me going to Buffalo was kind of like a college town. Like everybody knew everybody. The stadium was in a neighborhood, like a community. Like, people open up their yards for parking and everything. So it was close knit, which was cool for me coming from Chapel Hill, which was kind of the same, and being immersed in the Buffalo. It gave me a chance to slow everything down and grow. Not many distractions unless you wanted to go to Toronto all the time. But other than that, it's a good place. It's a great place to be, man. Like winters are rough, but other than that, man, I love it. I still love Buffalo.
You don't get the same wing experience down in Carolina now, do you?
Oh no, Anchor Bar in Buffalo is one of the best.
There you go. And there's a lot of good places.
Anchor Bar and Chop House.
Chop House.
Chop House.
Downtown.
Chop House. Every time I used to go there, eat
That's
them steaks,
fancy.
I used to be like, "What a chef at? Please tell the chef to come here so I can thank him for that steak."
Definitely.
And I would, man.
Definitely.
Yeah, I would tell the waiter to go get the chef, and then he would come out. I'd be like, "Man, that steak was delicious."
Buffalo's known for their food, so you get here, land, you have this experience, it's cold, everything. Let's talk about the fans for a sec. Like, what was your experience? Did you know about the Bills fans and how kind of crazy they were? Because when you came in, it was under Chan Gailey, Coach Chan Gailey. We had a couple characters on the team, and that's kind of when we started to kind of formulate the BillsMafia moniker. We had Stevie Johnson, who had a rap career, and Ryan Fitzpatrick, who had a big long beard and was kind of funny and goofy. Like, did you see that? Did you feel that shift of the fan base in terms of like, okay, now we're kind of starting to be a fun team. We can score a lot, and people like to watch us. And did you feel that as a player on the field?
Yes. Before I get in there, fun fact is Coach Gailey recruited me when he was the head coach at Georgia Tech.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So half the staff that was on his recruit staff at Georgia Tech was in the locker room when I got to Buffalo. So that was another thing that helped me get adjusted. I was being surrounded by some familiar faces. But the fan bases, man, I remember seeing it on TV as a kid growing up, especially when Thurman Thomas then was playing there. And like it would be cold, man. I would see people with their shirts off. I'm like, man, I can't even go outside with a jacket if it's too cold. They were like full bare skin. They got gloves and a hat, and they're going insane. But like getting up here, and I kind of realized how crazy the fans was when I first got to the airport when we reported, and it was people like just yelling my name in the airport and saying "Go Bills," and I'm like, oh my God! But I had to remember, like, the city it's not that big, so that one major airport, they're like, people are gonna notice who you are. So, but the best thing about it, they don't bother you. They just give you all the credit in the world. Man, I just love them. They was always supportive from first game to last game. I remember one game. I think the first time my parents came up here. Matter of fact, it was after the Oakland game, and I got my interception. We was leaving the parking lot, and my dad rolled down the window and yelled, "Go Bills!" And the fans swarmed my truck. You know what I'm saying? So it took us like an hour to get out the parking lot because the fans like swarmed the truck. I was signing autographs and everything. It was
That's
pretty
fast.
cool, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I had a blast, man. But the fans was always ready. So
takes Tony and I like 4 hours to get out of the parking lot. 1 hour is good.
Man. Well, the only reason I got out in that hour because security finally came over and was like, "That's enough." And then they like wheeled me through and whatnot. So if it wasn't for the police, I'd probably been there a whole lot longer. So, but it was worth it, though.
Absolutely. We love our players as fans. We ride or die. Good through the good and the bad. We can be 3-12 at the end of the season. We'll still be at that last game, cheering you guys on. So the fans and the team are just like peanut butter and jelly, man. Just go together. So you come in, have this great experience, college town, loving it. Love your first impression of Buffalo, even though it's cold. We get it. Let's talk about on the field stuff. You come in, you're competing against guys like George Wilson, guys like Brian Scott. Talk to me about just coming in as a rookie and that. And the bigger question is, because you were competing against George Wilson for that starting strong safety spot or even snaps on the field as a rookie, did you feel at a disadvantage because you weren't in a Mary J. Blige music video like he was? No, man. No, I didn't feel like I was disadvantaged. You didn't have that celebrity status.
No, man. Only reason I felt like I was at a disadvantage because you got to remember I came in during the lockout, so I didn't have a rookie mini camp or mini camp to get ready for at the actual training camp. So, but the best thing about it, during the lockout, George lived in Atlanta, and at the time I was in Atlanta, so I used to go over to George's house, and he was like teaching me the playbook and things of that nature. So I was a little bit ahead of the curve. And that's one of the things I loved about that's one thing I loved about my rookie year. We had older guys that was willing to teach you. Like Byron Scott and George Wilson were both willing to teach me. And I used to give Byron Scott hell because being from Atlanta, I remember when the Falcons drafted Byron Scott. So I used to always mess with him. Like, I used to mess with him like, "Hey, man, I was in the 8th grade when the Falcons drafted you." You know what I'm saying? And he'd be like, "Oh, my God."
Like, old man.
Yeah. He'd be like, "Oh, don't say that. Don't say that." I'm like, "Yes, my man. 8th grade. I remember. Because we didn't have no first rounders. So you were the first pick." So I remember when we got you out of Penn State. So, and and then I used to call George supermodel because he was in the videos. But they was real good dudes, man. They taught me how to be a pro. I would say if it wasn't for those two guys, I probably wouldn't have played as long as I did because I was able to learn how to like study and prepare for games in and out of it from week in and week out. I learned from them how to like survive through a whole season because those guys like. They didn't miss that much time when they was playing. The 2 years I played with them, they were suited up every game. So they just taught me ways to like take care of my body. They helped me set up nutritionists, and they pretty much just handed me all the connections they had. So I was able to apply them, and thank God I was mature enough to sit there and listen because I could sit in between both of them every meeting, every defensive meeting and whatnot. So I was able to learn how to be a pro from those guys.
Yeah, it'd probably be great to learn from them too because they were so diverse and so versatile. Like George was originally a wide receiver converted to safety. Brian Scott was played linebacker a lot and safety. So like you could see a lot of different perspectives from those guys.
Right. Just always be willing. The more you can do. That was one of Brian Scott's favorite things to say. It was two things he loved to say: be a pro, and the more you can do. So. That I always took heed of that. I used to write that in like top of my notebook every day. Like be a pro, and the more you can do.
Yeah, nice.
So you had mentioned that you had given the nickname to George was a supermodel. Did at any point at your time in Buffalo, did you have a locker room nickname, or do you remember like any funny nicknames around the locker room on those teams?
Okay,
what were some of the best of the best?
We love our nicknames here. So
my God. Well, my rookie year. Dre and Florence and George used to call me Wale. The rapper Wale.
Like the rapper?
Yeah.
Yes. Like I got Wale so much, and it didn't dawn on me that I looked like Wale until like one time I had a layover in DC, and like folks, for real, I'm serious. Folks thought I was Wale, and I was like, oh my God. Like, but after my rookie year, it was just Searcy. Like I always either been Searcy or Spidey. That's from high school, college, and in the NFL. Searcy or Spidey. Like that was it. But just my rookie year, they called me Wale my rookie year.
I never noticed it until you said it. Now I can't not see it.
Wale.
Glass shattered.
That's before I had the beard. Oh my God.
Oh my gosh.
I used to either get Wale or T-Pain.
Oh, T-Pain's a good one.
T-Pain's a good one, yeah.
Who had the funniest nickname to you in the locker room?
Oh my God. I gotta think about that. Marcel had a funny nickname, Mr. Big Stuff. He's
that's a good one.
Mm-hmm. And then Jazz Bird, we call him Birdman, of course. The bird is I'd be like, the bird is the word. Stevie had a dope name. Of course, it was just Stevie J, but he was cool. I actually like his swag, man. But the thing people didn't see, he worked his ass off. So that was pretty cool too, man. And then, of course, Mario had Rio or Super Mario. So yeah,
that's some good ones. That's some good ones. Yeah, that was a good era, man. A lot of cool cats on that team, on that locker room.
Absolutely.
I just figured like. You know, you're learning from George. You're learning from like George is in Mary J. Blige. You ever say like, "Hey, you got Ashanti's number? I got to get on your level, man. You got Christina Milian's number? I got to."
Nah, like towards the end of the season, I used to be like, "Who video you gonna be in this off season?" Because I think after my rookie year, going into 2012, he was in Marsha Ambrose's video.
Yep.
I think it was like late night, early morning. That video, he was in that video. So after that, I used to always be like, who video you gonna be in this off season? Like, do I need to put my TV on BET or something? Like, who? Because normally you're gonna pop up somewhere. So he used to always laugh, man. It was pretty cool knowing somebody that been around other celebrities outside of like football. So
that's funny. That is dope. Yeah, that is cool. I just want to get back to the fans real quick because you came into the team in 2011, and unfortunately that was like during a playoff drought and kind of a lower point for the organization. When you came in and throughout your years here with the Bills, did you and the guys in the locker room, was that like added extra pressure for you guys to perform and get over that hump of finally making the playoffs and finally getting this team on the right track. Did you feel that on the field? Did you feel it in the video room, Monday through Saturday?
It was through the facility. It was through the facility. I would say everybody wanted that. Everybody, I know I wanted at that point. I've never been to the playoffs, so I definitely wanted to go.
Yeah.
We had guys that would come in doing free agency and sign to the team that just came off playoff teams or came off playoff runs and whatnot. So I always wanted to experience it. And in my 8 years of playing in the NFL, I only got to the playoffs one time, and that was 2017 when I was with Tennessee, and the atmosphere was ridiculous. So I always wanted that, so especially coming to Buffalo and seeing when it was in a drought. I wanted to be on a team that ended that drought. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
I wanted to be on the team that made that final leap and get that franchise back into the playoffs. Like, I sit and watch it now, and they're in the playoffs every year. I was like, God, I wish I was. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm ecstatic and so happy for Buffalo, but I wish we could have done it when I was there. We had some talented guys that I played with that we could have done it as well.
For sure. Go, Tony. You can take it over.
So I mean, we found as we went back in the archives a little bit, we found in 2012 you said in an interview that your favorite candy was Lemonhead Chewies.
Yeah.
Do you
would you like to change your answer?
Yeah, do you want to change your answer? Do you want to update your response here?
Man,
there are so many good candies out there.
The
you can't choose lemon.
Oh my God! I mean, it's crazy. I haven't had Lemonhead Chewy since about 2016. Like
as it should be.
I used to have a jar on my table, and when guys come over and watch film, they used to rub shot through my jar. Like Aaron Williams used to eat all my candy. Nikhil Roby used to come over and eat all my candy. Leotis used to come eat all my candy. And the thing about it, Nikhil Roby was a rookie, so I used to be like, "All right, man, you got to go to the store and fill my jar back up because you killing my stuff." You know what I'm saying? And he would bring me something to the facility so I could take back home and fill the jar up. So man, it was pretty cool, man. But like now, I try to stay away from the candy, except now because Easter coming. So they got the Jolly Rancher jelly beans. I be killing them, but I only eat them Easter because that's when they have them. You know what I'm saying? So I go down the aisle and just arm work a whole row into the basket, man, and go. So I probably get like 10 bags of them because that's the only time of year I'm gonna eat them. So, but that's about it. Other than that,
well it lasts.
Right. So other than that, man, my main candy is gum. Other than that, I try to stay away from it.
Always good. I saw that interview and I'm like, no, Lemonheads, those are terrible.
Lemonheads.
I think they're terrible.
Not the hard Lemonheads, the chewy kind.
I know, no, just too sour. Yeah, there's so many good candies out there.
But I used to be in the leads doing trader cap, shaking them like seeds, just eat them and taking notes. Like, for real.
Awesome. Let's talk about your playing career. 8 years, like you mentioned, tons of good moments. I mean, your, I think, second game in the NFL against the Oakland Raiders as a rookie, you get the game-clinching, game-closing interception against Jason Campbell. So many good moments. We'll get into a couple later, but just talk about that first moment as a rookie, getting that interception in front of the home crowd. Like, how was that?
Yeah.
Just, is that something like dreams are made of kind of thing?
Well, the first dream I got that out the way the first week of the season in Arrowhead, just to be there on opening day in the NFL, and it was the 10-year anniversary of September 11, and it was in Kansas City, and to be able to stand there in between like firefighters and police officers, and we all held the flag, and just seeing the flyover and everything, that was pretty amazing. I was looking around like, man, I arrived. Like this is awesome. You know what I'm saying? Like, take it all in, and then for us to win there, and then the next game to be a sold out home opener. It was dope, man. Like I made a key tackle inside of like the 20 on a kickoff, which was became like my first tackle of my career. And then for that last play to come down to a Hail Mary, and for me to jump up and get interception when I wasn't supposed to be the jumper, but it came to my side. So I mean, I was and I and I thought I had enough time to jump up and catch it before people caught up to me. But it's like as soon as I went to jump, I just felt everybody around me. But if you look at that video, dude, I was the first person to jump, and I was the last person to land. Like all that adrenaline at that one moment, like I went up over everybody and caught it, and like was able to like hold on to it. And for that to be my first career pick. My mom and dad was there. That was their first NFL game other than the Falcons game from us growing up. It was pretty awesome, man. I had a blast. You couldn't tell me nothing. I still had that ball. I kept I kept it, threw it. I kept it, gave it to the equipment people. They put it in my locker, and then I took it home with me. So man, that was awesome.
So it does sound awesome. I mean, to have like the dream come true like that. And then by the time like when does like that fade? Like at what point are you like no longer in awe of it all? And you're just like, I'm just like locked in as a professional now. And it's just like, it's no longer the fairy tale. Like how long did that take to kind of fade away?
Really after the first preseason game.
Oh, okay.
Because my first ever game was in Soldier Field, so it was a preseason game against the Bears. So my first ever game was in Soldier Field, a historic place. I remember running out there and I ran straight over to like Walter Payton, like jersey, and touched it because that was one of the like guys. Like when I first got really into football, my dad like, look at this guy. This guy's name was Walter Payton. They called him Sweetness. Look at his work ethic. Look at him and then so I just watched highlights of him and watched how he worked and whatnot. So the run out on Soldier Field for my first preseason game, first game ever, and just to go over to his picture and touch it, and then it was a fellow Tar Heel on the other side, Julius Peppers. He came up to me and talked to me before the game, so just telling me welcome and whatnot. And I mean, I was an all in, seeing Devin Hester come out the tunnel just to catch punts. I was like, man, that's Hester. You know what I'm saying? So that was the only time I was like in awestruck. But I was more so just excited that like finally I get to put on a jersey and hit somebody else. And then I was like, man, this is cool. My first game is in Soldier Field. Like, you know what I'm saying? This is one of the first NFL teams. So like this is historic. You know what I'm saying? So just knowing the history of the game, I got all my jerseys out there. From that point on, it was business. I knew I had arrived at a level that everything counts 10 times more now. So I knew I had to be ready. So all my jerseys went out after that. After that first preseason warm up. So when we went in and came back out for the actual game, I was good to go.
Yeah, I think different experiences for sure. And then let's fast forward to 2013. A different season opener, New England Patriots. This has to be like one of the greater highlights when we look back on it. First career sack, returns a fumble for touchdown, involved in a lot of plays. It's against Tom Brady. Take us through that. Take us through that memory.
Like you said, it was the first game. And people don't remember the opening kickoff of that season. I made the first tackle inside like the 20 on the Garrett Blunt. So you go back and look at that. I'm like that opening kickoff. I make the first tackle. So I was hyped from jump. So again, like I always played good, but I played extremely well when my father was at the game because I knew I was living out both our dreams. You know what I'm saying? So whenever my dad was in the stands, I was gonna play good, but I was gonna bat out of hell play when my dad was there. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though I know he was gonna be proud of me regardless, I just knew like, yo, man, this is for me and you. Like, you know what I'm saying? You didn't get your opportunity. He played in the USFL for like a couple of years before the league folded, but he didn't get the chance to come to the NFL because he blew out his knee. So I just knew it was both of our dream to do this. So, but yeah, going back to that, man, it was a tight battle. I remember before I got the sack on him, I remember he motioned the running back out, and I had that running back man to man. I'll never forget. I looked at Brady, and Brady looked at me, and then he gave a signal to the running back. I was like, "Oh hell, he coming this way on this play." And they ran a double move, and thank God the pressure got there because I got caught on the first move. I was like, so I was chasing the running back I was like 2 steps behind him, but like I think it was Mario and Marcel got there to force the overthrow. So the pass was incomplete. So then I think they ended up kicking a field goal that series, and then the following series, that's when I got the sack on him. So I was hyped for my first career sack to get Tom Brady. I'm like, it's people going into the Hall of Fame that didn't sack Tom Brady. So I got him. So
Right.
I felt like I really did something. So then as the game kept going along, you know, the big play when the running back fumbled, I just picked it up and kept running. I didn't know if he was down or not. All I knew is the ball was out. I didn't hear a whistle scoop it. So then I kept running. I heard the crowd like yelling. So I knew wasn't no whistle then because the whole stadium erupted. So I was just like, man, let's go. Let's get to the end zone. First career touchdown. Then as I got in the end zone, I got to jump into the stands of BillsMafia. So it was pretty dope, man. Like from seeing everybody on offense do it, and I got to finally do it. I had a blast. So I'm one of the few guys that can say they scored on every level, high school, college, and pro. So it was amazing.
Tony, I don't remember if you know, like watching that game, DeNorris' scoop and score, like at least on the TV, the commentary like stopped. Everyone thought the play was over. Like Stephen Ridley was down.
Right.
There was no fumble. Like, and then DeNorris was running in the end zone, and all of a sudden, like, Eddie's in the end zone, and it's like, I guess it counts. Nobody even knew. It was wild.
Because I didn't realize what happened. All I know is I knew it was a run play. And I can't remember the guard who came to block me, but I know I like slipped underneath his block. And you see on the tape, I went up underneath his block so hard I almost fell. Like I like slid a little bit.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I see the running back slip, and then I see Kiko jump on him. And when I see Kiko jump on him, the ball is just out rolling. So I'm like, ain't no whistle. So I picked it up. I said, well, I stop if they blow a whistle. So once I started running, I didn't hear nothing but the crowd get louder and louder, so I just kept running. And then they did the review, and it was
play to the whistle.
Fumble. I was like, yeah, exactly. Play to the whistle. Absolutely, man. And that was one of those times it paid running to the ball. As a defense, you taught to run to the ball and play through the whistle. So both those rules right there
pays
helped me
off.
Get my first NFL touchdown.
It pays off for sure. What a moment though! What a game! First sack, first NFL touchdown. Like, I mean, you said it yourself. A lot of players do not get to say they sacked or got a sack on the greatest quarterback of all time, arguably.
Right.
And you are one that can say that. So do you have like your first interception ball? You said you kept all that stuff. Your jerseys, I'm sure you kept. Like, do you when people come over your house, is like that's the coolest like talking point, right? Is like, hey, look what I did. I was in the NFL and I did all this stuff, right?
Yeah, man. Especially one of my neighbors, man. He used to come on my. He's originally from Boston, so he used to come on my house sometimes. And we'll shoot pool, and then like in my game room, it's a big picture of me sacking Brady. It's another picture of me because on that fumble return, the first person I had to get past was Brady. So it's a picture of Brady like sliding and holding his hand out, trying to like trip me and whatnot. So I got both those pictures up, and he used to come over and be like, God, I hate you got this picture up. You know what I'm saying?
Amazing.
I used to mess with him. I'm like, yeah, I got the GOAT, man. Too many people say they got the GOAT.
Yeah, you didn't need to worry about Brady trying to tackle you. He's going to trip you or do something like weird.
Yeah.
Right? He's not going to try to tackle you.
Absolutely.
Well, DeNorris, that's all. Tony, do you have any other questions before we let DeNorris go? I think
we can wrap it up. We've taken enough of this man's time.
Taking awesome time. DeNorris, I hope you had a great time as well here. You're always welcome back. Let our viewers, let our listeners know where you're on Instagram and social media and everything, and where they can follow you today.
Yeah, I'm on Instagram. You can follow me at dsearcy_21. I had a blast on here too, man. I'd be willing to get on here anytime and do this. Especially once
you're always welcome
start,
back.
Man. Appreciate it.
Oh yeah, love to have you back. Always. And if you follow the North Carolina Tar Heels, DeNorris I think is at every athletic game as much as he can be. So you might see him there. So.
Absolutely.
That's so cool though. We didn't even talk about we touched on your North Carolina days when the combine, but I mean to go to the same school is like some greats, Michael Jordan. Maybe not Mitch Trubisky, but
DeNorris Searcy.
Right.
DeNorris Searcy.
Michael Jordan, DeNorris Searcy. Like the greats of North Carolina. Yeah.
We had some studs come through there. You can't forget about Lawrence Taylor.
No.
Julius Peppers, first ballot Hall of Famer going in this year. So crazy thing. I played with him his final season in the NFL, 2018. We both were with the Panthers.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So it was,
That was crazy.
It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool to interact with him because it was. Cause I used to get to the stadium early, so the only 3 people who be at the stadium would be me, him, and Cam Newton. That's it.
Was Cam getting in fights with people like he is now?
No, man. That's post career. When he was in it, when he was in the NFL, Cam was one of the first ones in the building, last ones to leave. Like, so he was always there. So it's a shame that happened though, because he's one of the guys that continues to give back to the community.
Absolutely.
I haven't had my camp since 2019. But yeah, for him to divvy out money out of his own pocket to throw camps and give guys opportunity to showcase their skill, man. I hated that happened to him.
Absolutely, yeah. That was crazy to see. I don't know what happened there, but man, Cam held his own against that group. I props to Cam there, man. That dude, I wouldn't want to mess with that dude.
Right, 6'5", 260. You know,
no way.
Some of them ain't even 200, and they trying to wrestle with that.
I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking. Awesome.
A wise coach once told me, know your skill set. So, you know.
There you go. Well, Denoris, thank you again, man, for joining us. We'd love to have you back during the season. Awesome time. And always go Bills.
All right. Go Bills. Bills Mafia.
Awesome. Thanks, Denoris. You have a good rest of your day, man.
All right. You guys too.
Thanks.
This episode of the Witty Not Funny Sports Podcast is brought to you by Traveling Growler. Quality koozies starting at just $5. Keep the chill on your fill and travel in style with Traveling Growler. Shop local, support local at www.travelinggrowler.com.
And we are back. Once again, a huge thank you to former Bills safety Denoris Searcy. Awesome interview. Super fun, dude.
Good guest.
Great guest, as always. We always have great guests on this show. So,
did you say certified dude?
I said, did I? Well, yeah, I didn't say that, but I think he is a certified
that guy's
dude.
A certified
I said
dude.
Great dude. I said great dude.
No, I like certified dude better.
Certified dude as well.
Just a certified dude. I love it. That's getting
certified dude.
Getting in the zeitgeist.
we're adding that to the lexicon of this show for sure. Hopefully we can have more certified dudes on in the future here, but Denoris was an awesome guest. Great hearing his stories and his time at the combine and his time during his NFL playing career. So awesome guest, Denoris Searcy. Hope listeners, viewers, you enjoyed it. If you haven't yet, hit that like. Please follow, subscribe, show the show some love. If you haven't yet, check out the t-shirt store. We'll get into all the links and everything later on. So make sure you check it as we wrap up here. Tony, as we wrap up, I wanted to touch on one thing we didn't touch on in our last show, and that is a guy who is quite the topic of discussion for us, I think, on a regular basis. That is Gabe Davis. He recently released his goodbye, farewell scouting report
commercial.
Commercial. 8-minute long video on Instagram as a thank you to Buffalo and thank you to BillsMafia, with the idea, I guess, that he's no longer going to be a Buffalo Bill, which, take for that what you will. Maybe he will, maybe he won't be back with the new salary cap numbers being issued here this season. But kind of a strange something and if you haven't yet, go to Gabe Davis' Instagram, check it out. Kind of a strange thing. I don't think I've ever seen a player do their own recruiting commercial, and usually if they do, it's like a high school athlete trying to get recruited by colleges. It reminded me a lot of, for anyone who's an Entourage fan out there, when Vinny Chase was courting different agents not named Ari Gold, and then Ari brought him in, and any agency he went to, Vinny had to sit there through a PowerPoint of McDonald's, Starbucks, Vinny Chase. These are the brands that I feel like Gabe Davis was going for Vinny Chase, Entourage, I need an agent vibes there. Just a strange. I think strange is the word I use to describe. Maybe listeners, viewers, you use a different word. Tony, maybe you use a different word, but to me, it was strange. What are your thoughts about it?
Strange, but I also think a little of the time. You know, I
Okay.
think that this is maybe the start of like where these kinds of ideas are evolving into. But strange, yes, in the sense of there are 32 National Football League GMs, and they all know Gabe Davis. They don't need they don't need these cherry pick stats that Gabe Davis has created at the end of this video to notice Gabe Davis. I think that every personnel department in the league is going to be putting in at least some kind of work to analyze what they could and would get out of Gabe Davis and
what they're paying for. Yeah.
Yeah. And versus like what they think they would pay for versus what they think the market would be.
Right. I think that was
moving the needle. Yeah.
Yeah. I totally agree. I don't think and that was just maybe where the strange part comes in, is the like resume of stats at the end, very cherry picked, as you mentioned, of only the good ones. They don't mention drop rates or anything like that, of course. So again, it was a little strange. I also thought like 40% of the video was Josh Allen and not Gabe Davis.
Yeah, I know.
It's like, that's it. Watching, I'm just like, oh, that was a really good throw by Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Oh, Josh Allen said that nice thing about Gabe Davis. Of course he does. He's a team leader. Why wouldn't he?
Gabe Davis finds himself making a reception with a 10-yard radius around him that there's no opponents.
Right.
Good job, Brian Dable.
Right. Great scheme drawn up there, offensive coordinator. Yeah, exactly. Also, maybe when we talk about strange things in the video, the strangest, and I don't know the reference. I don't think you do. Maybe you do. Maybe listeners, yours, if you know the reference, please let us know. The Shane Gillis game. What? Shane Gillis, comedian, recently hosted SNL.
Right.
I didn't think he was like a thing until like 6 months ago, let alone like 2 years ago. The Shane Gillis game. What does that even mean? 2 catches, 2 receptions, 2 targets, 2 receptions, 160 yards. In a touchdown or 2, I think, was the Shane Gillis game, if I'm not mistaken. What? Why? What? I every question that starts with a W I have here. Who? What? Why? Where? When? How?
So
the Shane Gillis game.
So I Googled the Shane Gillis game.
Yeah, tell us what Google has to say.
Nothing seems to be coming up that has any allusion to the Bills, except for one thing. But it's also a tough Googling environment right now because it's going to be SNL heavy because we're only 6 days out from when he hosted SNL. So like that's going to be different. I do have I did have a YouTube image. Here we go. And it's an image from Shane Gillis on the Theo Von podcast, whatever it's called, this past weekend.
Yep.
And Shane Gillis is in a Bills hat.
Oh.
So there's that.
Bills fan? Maybe he's a Bills fan.
I don't know. I mean, I'm led to believe by this.
We need a true detective, like connecting of dots here of like Gabe Davis and Shane Gillis.
Yeah.
Do they know each other? Are they friends?
I'm trying to look here and I'm trying to look here in like the episode review if there's anything about the Bills or him talking Bills or anything. I don't see anything there. I mean, this is from a year ago. So this podcast is from January 16th of this year.
Oh,
so this would not be
very strange.
Yeah, so this would not be like the Shane Gillis game. This wouldn't be like a podcast about the Shane, or in the same time frame as the Shane Gillis game, or what we will
have to look into this. I'm
probably going to watch this podcast. So
put our thinking hats on. We'll watch a podcast. We will get down to the reason for the naming of the Shane Gillis game. It was very strange. Gabe Davis also, when you talk about cherry picking his stats, came up with the nice comparables with some greats like Jerry Rice, Cooper Kupp, DK Metcalf, like just Tyreek Hill. Like it was again something you see maybe a high school student do to get recruited by colleges. Like put up. I hope he has his like scouting profile up to date, because it seems like he's trying to go back to college and get recruited. So strange. What do you think are, speaking of cherry pick facts, what's like one or two facts you think were omitted, like strange facts that Gabe Davis would never divulge to the public? Like he got caught in the yeah. I was thinking like more off the field, like he got caught in like the Beanie Baby bubble burst or something.
Oh, okay. You know, like I was thinking something about like his eyebrow raising relationship with Kay Adams. Something,
yeah.
Something in there in that respect, something in there.
Right. What else? What else can we think of? What does he like to do? He likes to fish.
Gabe Davis does like to fish, yeah. So it would be like
what was the mastermind behind the putting, what was the scandal in the fishing tournament community a year ago? They were putting weights in the fish.
Oh, was it? Weights in the fish?
Yeah, that was a scandal. Okay. They were putting weights in the fish for like officially sanctioned fishing association tournaments. They were putting weights in the fish so they would win. Gabe Davis was the mastermind behind putting weights in fish too. And it's like an Ozark situation.
Yeah, he like sponsors a lot of teams.
Just finding these like different businesses to launder money from. Yeah,
right.
That's it. That's the fact he omitted. Gabe Davis is the real life Marty Bird.
Yes. There you go.
Yes, I think that's,
we cracked the case, boys. Clear.
And that's why he got so mad at that final Bills game when he was jawing with the fans. The fans finally figured it out. A couple fans figured out his criminal ways, and Gabe Davis got really upset. It was jawing back at the fans. There we go. We figured it out. We figured it out to end this show.
It was right in front of us the whole time.
It was right in front of us the whole time. Marty Bird himself.
What would Gabe's how would Gabe kill someone if he killed someone?
Maybe by a brick. Rounding the episode out.
Rounding it out. These are great callbacks. That's how you do a callback, baby.
That's how you do a callback. Da-da-da. That's a callback for the folks out there. Tony, what do you say we wrap up the episode though?
Well, we're at our you got to go now because we're at our peak.
We got to go now. We're at our limit here. Thank you to our sponsor, of course, Traveling Growler, www.travelinggrowler.com. Quality koozies starting at just $5. Shop local, support local, www.travelinggrowler.com. T-shirt store. If you haven't checked it out, check out the apparel store. Support the podcast today. teespring.com, teespring.com. You can also search Witty Not Funny, all one word. There's some of our cool designs on Google. Teespring Witty Not Funny. We're the first result that comes up. Click the link. Check out the store. Support the podcast today. All cool designs. T-shirts, hoodies, crew necks. We got it all. All sizes, all colors. Teespring.com. Witty Not Funny. Where to find the podcast? You can find the podcast anywhere your fine podcasts are listened to for free. iTunes, Spotify, if you're listening to this on audio. If you're not catching this on video, or if you are catching this on video, YouTube, Facebook, we're on everything, every platform we can possibly be on. And we got some big things coming up for the off season later on. So stay tuned. If this is your first time viewing this show, or you've been a frequent viewer, we always like to say whether you give us 2 minutes or 2 hours of your time. We greatly appreciate that. And we truly do mean that. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in today. Hopefully you all enjoyed the awesome interview with that certified dude, Denoris Searcy. We'll be sure to have him back on a later episode. Awesome guests, awesome stories, and officially a certified dude. So
that's how you do it.
Great there. What were you going to say, Tony?
That's how you do it. That's how you certify a dude.
That's how you certify a dude, right there.
A couple of certified dudes handing out dude certifications.
I feel like this is very like MTV's early 90s jock jam, like certified dude show. The certified dudes handing out certified dude certificates. Peak MTV. Dan Cortez would be hosting. If you haven't followed us, make sure you give us a follow at Twitter X at WittySports716, Instagram at WittySports716, Facebook, TikTok, Witty Not Funny Sports. Give us a follow on all platforms. You find the show, find all our stuff. We love following back, connecting with BillsMafia, hashtag Sabres Swords People, trademark pending. Still don't have an official fan name for the Sabres fan base. So still working on that one. Getting that taken off. But give us a follow on all those platforms. Other than that, thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you everyone for commenting, liking, subscribing. If you haven't done so yet, please take 1 second to hit that like. We really do appreciate the support. And make sure you subscribe as well. That's all I got, Tony. Other than that, go Bills. And, of course, stay witty out there, everyone. We'll see you next week. Peace.
Bye.